Hey guys, so I lived as a missionary for the Mormon Church in Denmark for like a year and a half, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. Um, so I'm not going to talk about spirituality, religion, whatever. I just kind of want to talk about life in Denmark, how it's different. And one of the things that stands out the most is just the culture and how it's so rich and so preserved. I mean, here in America, they call it the melting pot because people of all cultures come. In Denmark, it's only now, kind of in the last 50 years, started to become a place where immigrants come. And so their culture is so rich and their language has so much history, and it seriously defines kind of the entire country and how it works. And so one of the best things about Denmark is the food. And a lot of people call it mormormel or grandma food because it's kind of what everyone's grandma made. They have like best meatballs. They're kind of like flat and made in pan. They're called a frikadelle. And they have this like pickled red cabbage. It's called rødkål. And they're like brun sauce or brown gravy over their boiled mashed potatoes or baked potatoes. It's just like the best. And a lot of people don't really get to experience Danish food. And so when you go to Denmark, you have to experience that grandma food. You have to go and experience what real Danish is. Something that I always thought I knew was like, oh yeah, Danishes, pastries, they're so good. They're my favorite thing. And then I went to Denmark and I realized that there's this whole other level of glory when it comes to pastries. And it's called wienerbrød or Vienna bread. And it's just something you have to experience for yourself. And you need to stop buying pastries at the grocery store because they're not the same. Something else that I love about Denmark is the people and how loving and generous they are. And I always would see Danish people helping out the homeless or going and volunteering at a hospice center, or there were some families that would go out late at night and help, drunk teenagers come home safely. And they really do care about one another, and they really do see each other as this huge Danish family. And when you come there as a tourist or as a missionary, it's a wonderful experience because they care about you as a person. They care about your well-being and your happiness and how much you enjoy being in their country. And they're always so appreciative when people try to learn Danish, and always so accommodating when they can't because their English is amazing. They have the best fashion. They're always wearing dark colors, and everyone always seems to match, and they always know what's in style and what's in season. And they're just such magnificent people. And the language is so fun to speak. Something that's so profound about Denmark, I think, is how proud they are of where they come from and their like Viking history, and how many museums and monuments and things are kind of dedicated to that. A lot of Danish people have such a high value placed on families, and that value kind of rolls over into every other aspect of their lives. People tend not to move as much as they do here in the United States because they want to be around their family and their friends that they've had for a long time. People tend not to go out of their circle as much because they have such strong bonds already. A lot of Danish families will have dinner at the dinner table, unlike a lot of American families where we're so busy with our lives that kids are going to soccer practice and people are at after-school programs and we just don't have time for it. Danes really put a big focus on that, and they make those home-cooked meals at their dinner table, and it's something that I am so happy still exists in the world. And I also love that it's one of the safest places. I was always riding my bike around at night, in the mornings, running early in the morning when it was dark out, especially in the winter time. And I've always been afraid of the dark. But while I was in Denmark, I was never afraid because it was the safest place. No one locks their doors. People leave their babies outside in their carriages for naps because apparently it helps them sleep better. And it just makes you wonder, what is it about these people that makes them so trustworthy? And like I said, they really are just wonderful people. Again, with like lifestyle, they're so healthy because everything is a lot closer together than it is in the United States. There's grocery stores on almost every single corner, and city centers have most of the shopping. People ride their bikes all the time. People walk. People take the bus. People take the train. Not a lot of people have cars. One, because the taxes are so high, but two, because you don't really have to have a car. You can get around without one. And I think that's something that I wish I had more of here. But when it takes you 30 minutes to walk to a grocery store, that's kind of the time when you need to start taking your car. So it's such a fun culture to experience. It's something totally different from the United States, and it's something that I really miss. And I hope to be able to go back soon. But anyone who goes to Denmark, above any of the monuments and museums and different tourist experiences you can have, I think you really just need to sit down and have a conversation with a Dane, because they're great.